In the Year 2 Australian Curriculum for Science, students are learning in chemical sciences that different materials can be combined, including by mixing, for a particular purpose. Some elaborations for this descriptor include students investigating the effects of mixing materials together and suggesting why different parts of everyday objects such as toys and clothes are made from different materials. The concept we identified for this video was derived heavily from the Australian curriculum, as well as informed by the Current Dominant Scientific Understanding, or CDSU. Our key concept is that materials have certain purposes based on their properties. This insinuates that materials are specifically selected for different uses based on the creator's intent for the object. For example, windows are made of glass with the purpose for them being able to be seen through. Glass is a material that you can see through to the other side. This means it has the property of being transparent, making it the perfect material to become a window. Making something with intention is done by combining and mixing materials to make an object with desired properties that will fulfill its particular purpose. Because of the nature of the key concept, it can be broken down into 3 parts that relate directly to our content descriptor.
There are 3 parts that need to be understood as part of our chosen content descriptor: materials, mixtures, and purpose. Material is an age-appropriate alternative saying matter, the scientific term. Matter is defined as anything that has space and mass. Space is the volume the matter occupies in the 3rd dimension. Mass is the amount of matter or substance that makes up an object, but is not an indicator of the size of the matter. All known matter is made up of molecular particles called atoms. Atoms are found throughout the universe and are commonly referred to as the building blocks of all matter. Everything around us, including people, objects, and animals, are made of atoms. Atoms are made up of subatomic particles called protons, neutrons, and electrons. Within the center of the atom, proton and neutrons, the positive and neutrally charged particles cluster together, forming what is called the nucleus. Electrons, the negatively charged particles, orbit the nucleus. 2 or more of the atoms may share electrons, forming a bond. When 2 or more atoms form together through a bond, they form molecules. Atoms also can be differentiated by the amount of protons they contain. This is also referred to as atomic number. Atomic number are what is used to separate all 118 known elements on the periodic table. Elements themselves are made up of a unique combination or mixtures of molecules.
In that sense, we can begin to understand that everything in the universe is in fact some sort of mixture, even at the molecular level. Complex molecules may be comprised of groups of simple molecules, and molecules themselves are groups or mixtures of atoms. A mixture is defined as an act of combining 2 or more materials together without changing its chemical structure. Mixing, in Year 2 chemical science, is when 2 or more ingredients are mixed together and can make a reversible product. We call this a physical mixture. This means that the matter can go back to its original state because only a physical change has occurred. A physical change will change the appearance of the material without changing its arrangement or composition. A physical change can be done through melting, cutting, and other similar actions. Mixtures occur naturally, but have also been purposely manipulated to create objects and materials that we use in our everyday lives, like the books we read, the food we eat, and the clothes we wear.
Purpose is defined as something that has an end to be obtained. In this context, we assign the purpose of an object based on its properties. Properties are the observable features of matter or materials. Properties can be viewed in 2 different ways, physical or chemical. Physical properties are features of a material that can be observed without changing the object chemically. For example, some physical properties of glass, a mixture of heat applied to sand, is that it is lightweight, hard, and transparent. Based on those properties, it is a well-suited candidate as a window, which needs to be transparent and lightweight as a building material. Alternatively, a chemical property is a feature that can only be observed when the chemical structure or composition of a material is changed. An example of this is applying heat to a log of wood, creating a fire. In early primary, students focus on only the physical changes and properties. The intended learning outcomes for this are based on the CDSU and the ACS. From being exposed to this content, students will learn that mixing different materials together can create something new for an intended purpose. They will also understand that materials are selected for a certain purpose based on their properties and that all materials have a purpose, a post-humanistic belief. They will know that humans use certain materials for particular purposes and its identifiable properties to find what purpose a material is best suited for. This links to the CDSU in that it underlines the knowledge that every material has properties, physical and chemical. It also ensures that students know physical change will alter the appearance of a material without changing its composition. In the ACS for Year 2, this targets learning that different materials can be combined for a particular purpose, that people use science in their daily lives, including when caring for their environment and living things, as well as learning how to compare observations with others. These three components from the three strands of the curriculum are interrelated, and their content is taught in an integrated way throughout the CDSU and the intended learning outcomes.
A set of criteria was created in order to evaluate the top 5 resources on their overall effectiveness in achieving the learning outcomes. Specifically, the resources were evaluated by the following: scientific accuracy, 5E phase, age appropriacy, visual and sound quality, entertainment, and accuracy in relation to CDSU. To elaborate, the scientific accuracy was important as it provides the basis for an effective resource, as it is crucial that what is taught in the classroom correlates with the ICT resource. The video also needs to be age appropriate, as the content needed to reflect the Australian curriculum for Year 2 Chemical Sciences. Being an ICT resource, overall quality and entertainment value was necessary for smooth and memorable interactions. Tying this together is accuracy to the CDSU, as this is crucial in providing students the link between the science learnt in class and the ICT resource. A ranking system was then formed to create a way of distinguishing the top 5 resources from one another, to ultimately find the best of the best resource. The ranking system ranged from 5 being excellent down to 1 representing poor. We used a 1 to 5 scale as we believed it allowed us to clearly distinguish between the effectiveness of each resource. To explain further, a scale that was too small did not allow for enough distinction and clouded the task of finding the best of the best. Each criterion was also weighted equally, as each aspect on its own was believed to be just as important as the other. We all then individually scored each resource to ensure a variety of perspectives, and after this tally these results to ultimately find our best of the best.
The resource we have ranked the best of the best is an online flash game titled Properties of Materials. Properties of Materials was developed by a website called Science Kids. This online flash game involves students selecting certain materials and testing if they are either waterproof, flexible, transparent, or strong. Students can choose from a range of materials such as metal, paper, fabric, rubber, glass, or plastic. Once a student selects the material and test type, the game plays a short flash animation while visually demonstrating the outcome. This BOTB resource was chosen based on its high scores across the selected criteria. The duration of time needed for this ICT resource is flexible to fit any teacher's teaching schedule, as it is an internet flash game. The ICT resource has been chosen as an introductory activity, and due to the simplicity of the game, teachers should not allocate more than 10 minutes, as students may disengage after long amounts of time. Though the game can come off as quite simple, the user-friendly interface provides teachers with a resource that is age-appropriate and easily accessible for all students in the class, with a simple drag and click motion on the computer that majority of Year 2 students can achieve. This resource, due to its simplistic nature and limited testable material properties, will be best suited to a younger year level that investigates the effects of physical changes on materials. The best of the best resource visually demonstrates the properties of the chosen materials in a scientifically accurate way that is easy for students to understand. Teachers are to keep in mind, though, that the properties of material games has gaps of information in relation to our identified CDSU, but as this is an introductory game to a lesson, there is no new information that students should not already know from prior learning in prep to Year 1. Entertainment value and visual and sound quality were voted high in rating this ICT resource, as it's bright, colourful, and features fun sound effects for the tests. As this is a game, the Year 2 students will be happy and willing to participate in this introductory activity. The first phase in the 5Es process is the engage phase. The chosen resource, Properties of Materials, is best suited for this phase. An engage phase resource is used by the teacher in classrooms to gauge students' prior knowledge or lack thereof on subjects, as well as pique their interest in the concept being taught. The BOTB resource provides the students with no new information on the concept, but allows them to use prior knowledge while testing and exploring the properties of materials and inferring their own outcome. This resource has been voted the best of the best because of its ability to accommodate for differentiation in the classroom. It's recommended that the teacher should pair lower level students with higher level students so that they can teach each other at a peer level. Due to the easy accessibility of the game, students who may have hearing or reading issues or may have English as a second language can all operate and understand the game without extra support. That's why this is our chosen BTOB resource.